Good afternoon, everybody. I'm James Chubb, the founder of eDirectory. Okay, I think we're on. So I'm excited today. We are going to talk a little bit about generating more revenue through your directory system with bundles and a number of other things as well. If anybody has any questions during the presentation, just drop them right into the chat window here, and I'll stop periodically to review. Okay. So today we're going to talk about increasing revenue with bundles. All right. And let's go. So the first thing I just wanted to talk briefly about is the directory business model. And yes, we will have a recording of the session available as well. We are recording the session, so that will be available. So the directory business model is a great business model. It's probably one of the best in business, actually, because after you get a directory up and running, it's typically pretty stable. You generate recurring revenue, lots of clients, so the income is distributed, and it can be enormously high margin. Historically, the Yellow Page business, the printed books, were very, very profitable businesses. I think in the United States, something like 9 or 15 billion a year, in the old days in the Yellow Page industry. And then what happened was everything moved online, and then everything also became sort of fragmented, where you had niche directories based on location, based on different provider. They weren't all owned by the giant telecom company. They focused on specific things or specific audiences, etc. So the directory model is really a great business model. Some of the advantages of it are there's no factory. You don't need to invest a lot of money. There's not a lot of equipment. You don't need inventory. You don't need to worry about inventory, cash flow, etc. Low initial capital is typically required. You can run it with a small staff. Also, the content is produced by typically the sponsors and the users. The users would be the reviews, and the sponsors produce the listing content, or much of it anyway. You still certainly need to edit it. But this is different than other things. If you think about television production, about how enormously expensive it is to produce live airtime on TV, or even newspapers where you need to have regular articles updated every day. Directory content doesn't go stale. Also, it's typically very high margin. Just historically, directory businesses have high margins, and the recurring revenue provides stability. However, there is one challenge to the model, which is it typically takes some time and effort to get it up and running and then achieve stability. Basically, you need to get it up and running. You need to build the content, and then you need to build the audience, and so that takes some time and effort. So what we're here to talk about today is what can we do about that? What can we do for your model, your directory site specifically? How can we generate revenue more immediately? How can we reduce churn, etc.? So the big idea is basically bundling in additional services with your directory listing. What that means basically is, instead of just offering only listings, we add some additional offerings in to provide tangible value and increase retention. I heard we're having an issue with the sound, so I'll check on that 1 second here. I will check on that. So I hope we're going to look at the sound, but I hope it's okay or tolerable at least. All right. So what types of additional bundles or services should we offer? And there's basically two things to look at. One of them is, what is the value to clients? Are you providing something that is of high value to the clients? And then the second thing is, how easy is it to produce this additional service or this additional offering? So you have some things that are very difficult to produce and don't provide much value, and they would be right here. And that's not where we want to focus. We want to focus over here where the services or additional things that I bundle are easy to produce and also of high value, or at least of high value. If the critical thing is you need to provide the value. If it's not of much value, it's not really going to help that much. So that's the critical thing to think about there. But the sweet spot is over here, moving this direction on the chart in terms of what's easy to produce. Things that have value, typically they provide visibility, leads, sales, etc., depending on your type of directory. But really, it could be anything. You could offer a T-shirt or a big screen TV. That's certainly value, and if the value is enough, it makes sense for somebody to purchase and to pay you. So think about that. Often it's better to focus more, in the marketing, in the area of the service that we're generally trying to provide. But really, it could be anything that you can offer. In terms of it being easy to produce, one thing to always note is that hard things are typically more valuable. Like if you needed to have a rocket that goes to Mars, that's really hard to do, and so that's why it costs billions of dollars to do that. So think about that a little bit. The easier it is, I mean, sometimes things that are hard are just more valuable, and it's worth putting in the effort to do that because nobody else can do it, or the barrier to entry is more difficult for competitors, etc. But also, one thing to keep in mind is that often you can use leverage or resell services or other things from people in your ecosystem, so that it's easy for you, even if it's actually something that's hard to produce. So you can find something that's hard to produce, but then somebody else produces it, you resell it, the end value is there. So that'll work as well. So basically, the idea here is that when you're selling a listing, you create 3 to 5 packages, bundling in some additional services. This is just one example. We sell a listing, plus we have service 1, service 2, service 3 sign up. You can do a couple of these different packages. In addition, you can offer a la carte things as well when you're trying to get signups into your directory system. But that's kind of the general idea. And now we'll talk a little bit more about some of these different options for services. And then, how to price them. This is important to talk about up front. So when you're doing these services, I think it's really a good idea to always focus on recurring instead of a one-off sale. So no matter what you're offering in with the package, try to price it as a monthly model, as an annual model, where it's auto billed, it's recurring, that type of thing. You'll find it provides stability for your business. You'll sleep better at night, all those types of things. The public markets typically value companies that have recurring revenue instead of one-off sales. The recurring revenue is often 2 to 4 times more valuable in terms of if you look at a company that has recurring revenue versus the same amount of revenue in one-off sales, the recurring revenue is typically much more highly valued. One other thing with the pricing is you must show ROI or a tangible work product before the renewal date on it. So just selling something, you may be able to sell it, get the sale, but you really need either ROI or something they can physically see, feel, touch, etc. Maybe not physically tangible, but like at least something digital. Renewal. Okay, now I'm just going to run through a series of different ideas on additional services that you can offer, bundle it in with your eDirectory listing, and generate more revenue. Some of these may fit better for your specific business model or niche, or your own abilities, etc. And some of them may not. Some of them you may not have any interest in, and that's totally fine. There's a whole bunch of ideas here, and I hope you come out with at least 1 or 2 that might work for you. So the first one is a very basic sort of general one, obvious one, which is bundling in Google AdWords service, basically Google AdWords management in when you sell a listing. So essentially, instead of charging, we're going to charge, $100 for a listing. Instead, you may charge $500, and then you take that extra $400, you put 300 of it to Google, and then you take 100 of it for the cost of providing the service, and then that whole added package provides more value to the user. That's just an example. Obviously, with Google, you can spend millions or pennies. It really depends on how much you want to spend. But basically, Google AdWords management, there's a period of initial setup where you need to go in, build the keywords, set up the ad campaigns, etc. But after they're up and running, it's typically pretty low maintenance. Certainly, you need to check in every week, review it, see what's working, see what's not, prune, etc. But after the initial time is spent, the ongoing management time is typically pretty small. So this is certainly a service you can offer. Google has training certification programs online. It's not difficult. I think it's difficult to do it very, very well, or to do it in scale. If you're managing, large, high-dollar campaigns, that's very hard. But for many of you can provide just a little bit of added value without too much knowledge, too much work, etc. You can provide real value that people will pay for. You can take it in, and this will be successful. You can drive the traffic either to their website or directly into a special landing page you create on your directory site or somewhere else, or drive the traffic right into the listing as well. And then you can advertise this to your users as hey, we're going to spend X in Google AdWords, or you don't need to say exactly how you're bringing the traffic in, but you can say we're going to buy X dollars worth of traffic, or not even mention the amount, but we're going to use some of your budget to build online ad campaigns. Depends on how you want to do it, how you want to market it, etc. So idea one is doing Google AdWords management. A second idea that often comes with that is providing an SEO service. So SEO service, search engine optimization, basically getting people to the top of Google and the other search engines. Typically, eDirectory sites that we see, people have 60, 70, 80% of their traffic is often from Google or other search engines, but mostly Google. So it's important to spend the time to optimize the site for these. And we certainly can do a whole nother webinar on SEO. There's a lot there. But a lot of these end customers, especially if they're small business customers, even just you'll get some bang for the buck just out of some really basic SEO, writing a little bit of content, thinking about what keywords are important for their business, setting up pages on their own website, setting up pages on the listing in eDirectory, so you do all the analysis, you do the link building, etc. There are materials, report templates, etc. available online. This isn't rocket science, SEO. You don't need to go to college even to do this work. It's not that hard. There are plenty of materials. There's a great website, SEO Moz. There's a number of tools you can get to help you with this as well. So it's a good service you can offer. Typically, you can build it into a monthly with the directory package. The one caution I have about SEO service, just to be candid, is the results typically take time, and it's not like a linear curve where you put the time in and things start to get better. It's like, oh, I did all this work, nothing. Oh, all of a sudden, some results. And also, some industries or areas are just hyper competitive, and your clients, especially if they're not web savvy, may have unrealistic expectations. They're like, oh, I want to get to the first page of Google, and it's like, oh, you can certainly get to the first page of Google, but you're not going to get to the first page of somebody searching for insurance. That's just not going to happen with your small insurance agency business. but you may be able to get to the first page for boat insurance in Des Moines or some some long keyword as well. So SEO, setting expectations, is critically important. However, it is a service you can provide real value, and we've certainly seen it work before. So think about adding an SEO component in. And you may not want to market it as full SEO or something like that, but some SEO light service, something along those lines. But it's certainly a good offering. Idea number 3, listing management. And so what listing management is essentially managing a small business's profile across various different search engines and other places on the internet. So even if you're setting up a directory or a guide that has a listing for a certain business, that business is also going to be in Google, it's going to be in Bing, it's going to be in Yahoo Local, it's going to be in 100 other sites out there. And often they're not, if the business is new, or even if it's just the data isn't updated, whatever, the profile needs to get built out, whatever it is, there's some work that can be done where essentially you go out to the internet, search for a business, find everywhere it's listed, and update all the profiles, make sure all the accounts are claimed, and doing all of that. There's a number of data aggregators that you can submit to as well, Acxiom, Localeze, Infogroup, et cetera, Dun & Brad. I mean, there's 100 of them out there. There's some businesses actually that have built pretty good businesses just on doing listing management. I think even Localeze, some of these other things that are aggregators have a component of that. The ecosystem is all mixed up, oftentimes. Yext, you'll find all these other places as well. And they often charge just for a separate listing management service. So you can do this listing management service sort of manually, just get it set up. It's very, very easy to do to get some results for that. How much value is provided there? I think you can actually, if their profile is pretty basic and they haven't put any time into it at all, you can get some real value for it. If they've already have an established business and have already tried to do some work in digital, they've probably got all their accounts already claimed and set up, so the value may not be quite as much there, but still listing management, certainly a valuable service to add. And if anybody has questions, I think on this one, we're going to have a white paper coming out in the next few weeks about how to do this and where to submit it, specifically, that really gives you some hard data on these items. So idea number 3, listing management. Idea 4, this is actually a really good one, a content creation service. A lot of these businesses need content. This is a big part that goes with SEO as well, is the content. That's what the search engines look for, is the content to index. So you can attack this a number of different ways depending on what you feel like charging, what value you're providing, who your client is, etc. Many of these larger B2B media companies have a division for doing custom content, essentially, where they'll write white papers, they'll write articles, etc. for businesses on contracts. So you can certainly do this depending on the type of site and business profile. If you're doing a local guide, you can hire some high school freelancers even to come out and write some content, write some articles for different businesses, etc. The articles can be about a specific business. They can be reviews about specific products, etc. They can be just informational how-to articles branded with the business name, etc. You can also buy and post content from a number of sites out there that have it done. This is super, super easy to do. There's sites such as Scripted, Constant Content, and a bunch of others where you can go out and get an article. So for instance, if you're doing a, say like a wellness directory or something like that, there's plenty of sites you can go to that will have wellness articles, etc. You can buy them, license them. You can even get exclusive rights, and then you sell the service to your listings, and then they can put that article on the website, put it on your site, etc. One other thing that works very, very well is aggregating and posting industry news. So we certainly recommend doing this on the eDirectory site, filling out blog entries. You set a Google alert and then repost blurbs, blogs, etc. But specifically here in terms of monetization, what I'm talking about is the specific business that bought a listing package that includes a content creation service. You update the content on their website, on their Facebook profile, etc. So some of this content, aggregated news, etc., and it gives their own site and their own, their own Facebook page, etc., a fresh feel to it. And so there's real value to be provided for that. And companies will pay, $100, couple $100 for that a month, I think, without too much complaint. So that's something to really think about. That certainly can generate revenue and be successful right off the bat very quickly. Okay, idea 5, which kind of goes with the custom content, is social media management service. And this is basically setting up Facebook, Instagram, Twitter accounts and then maintaining them for people. So there's a bunch of different things you can do there. One of them is setting up the accounts, getting them looking good, uploading background images and all that sort of thing. One other thing though is you can do the ongoing management where you post, regular content to keep them fresh. And then the other thing is if they have clients, a large number of clients coming in and posting questions, comments, etc., you can help them respond to that. If it's a business like, say, an auto parts, an auto repair shop or something that may not have somebody sitting in front of a computer all day, if you're running their social media, then you're in front of the computer and you can see the the info pop in. So account page creation and then regular weekly posting, you can certainly put together a package on that for social media. And there's a lot of guides on how to run this and also some external third-party tools you can use to help you manage multiple social media accounts. All right, so we had a question come in. I'm looking at adding recurring revenue streams with relatively low labor since I'm a solo entrepreneur. Yeah, I'm just talking about this. I'm running through them right now. So we're on idea number 5. We had 4 come in before this if you missed the beginning. However, some of these are more labor intensive and some of them are less labor intensive. And so you have to balance that out in terms of what you're willing to do. And the other thing about that is some of the ideas that are more labor intensive, it maybe you don't want to provide the service yourself. You may just want to leverage it and then take a cut of the revenues. So for instance, I could easily sell a social media service, but man, that's a lot of work. I don't want to be logging in and posting every day. That's too much for me. What you can do is make a partnership with a local social media service company or even a freelancer, etc. They provide the service under your brand, your name. You collect the money, pay out the costs, and then you keep the margin on it. So really it depends. When you think about low labor, high labor, intensive, there's a lot of ways to do it where it is a lot of labor, but the labor isn't necessarily yours. Okay, what's next? Idea number 6. This is sort of just providing more advertising to the visitor in terms of a package. So instead of just selling a listing, you sell them like a full site sponsorship. You sell them a newsletter sponsorship. Newsletters work great. We've seen lots of our eDirectory customers actually run large newsletter components in their businesses. And you can just see their traffic, and their traffic is here, and then newsletters, boom, spikes, every week when they send the letter out. So newsletters are great. Mobile apps, you can do a push notification on those if it's more of a local type thing. And site-wide banner, background sponsorship, put stuff on the footer, whatever you can think of for that. So just giving them more visibility on the eDirectory site. Idea number 6. All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we had a new. We had a suggestion come in about the newsletter. something that automatically creates the content. So all you have to do is populate the email addresses and hit send. We've looked at doing that actually, but we've found that it doesn't actually take that much labor to create the newsletter, in that the editorial curation that you can provide there really adds quite a bit to it. And if it's just all fully automated, it's sometimes it's a little bit tough. But we've looked at doing that, and I think that's something we'll continue to look at and just find a way that we can do it that makes it work. But typically, people that do the newsletters successfully, they combine a combination of things in the newsletter, and so it's a couple curated listings, it's maybe an editor's review, it's maybe an article or two, it's maybe a new listing, a new business, a bunch of things that you can put in there together, and then you add in the sponsorship to it. And I guess we found, like, you can kind of have that automated and sent out, but if you don't put that little extra, it takes what, 30 minutes, an hour maybe to set that up. And that makes all the difference often between a successful media company and one that just doesn't understand why they're not getting the uptake on it, just because what comes out of there that's automated may not be all that great. But we'll continue to look at that, and it maybe at some point we feel like we're able to put together a good automated, fully done newsletter service. Okay, one other idea that's sort of, in the lines of the last batch is promo creation and distribution. And this is often coupons. So coupons are often big, especially with local. So if you go to a business, and businesses are busy and they just want to pay and not spend the time. And so if you go to them and actually suggest a promo or a deal or a coupon, and then you put it all together and then you distribute it, that works great for marketing. And years ago, of course, everybody knows probably the story of Groupon and all of those daily deal sites. And they were tremendous because what they did was, they went to the business, suggested the offer, and made these offers that were so great that they built their own, their own business took off, where the offers were made to lose money for the business. But a big reason they got uptake and were successful is because they were super proactive about creating all the deals and the promos and everything and making it happen. Where the business owner just was like, yes, I'll do it, that kind of thing. And so if you go in to run a deal with the business, you can create a promo, some type of coupon, promo creation, consult with them personally on what you think will work for them, also what will be good to bring traffic to your site and get people excited. And then distribute it. And you can distribute it via posting it on the website, emailing it out, however else you can possibly distribute it. But if you can take the lead on that and put that in as a line item with your listing package, you'll find that typically finds some success. Okay, idea number 8, this is a really good one, is the special editions. And so special editions can typically be just digital special editions, which is essentially a series of web pages, our holiday guide. And what it is, you create a new custom content web page, and then feature certain listings, a couple articles, a big sponsor, that type of thing. And so there's a whole bunch of special editions that you can do throughout the year. Different types of holidays are great. The end of year Christmas holiday guide, Thanksgiving guide for the United States, Easter, those are sort of those type. Even the 4th of July grill out guide for the United States. Anything you can kind of think of, Valentine's Day special edition, that type of thing. And then you can go out and find a special sponsor just for the special edition guide. Also, if you're doing more of like a local thing or something along those lines, you may look at certain segments within your database and do a guide for those specific segments that has the listings plus the articles. And so, dining guide. So you're doing a resort guide. I actually lived, when I was young, I lived a couple of years in, I lived some time as a ski bum in Telluride, Colorado, and I remember they always had dining guides, and dining guides were huge because you have all these visitors come into town, and they would actually have printed books, online sites that were the dining guide for the town. Dining guides work great. Some areas are golf destinations, so you could do a golf guide, that type of thing. But if you really make the niche special editions, you'll find you can sell those because it's sort of a tangible item. Also just doing insider tips type of thing. Send that out once a year. That's another idea that can generate some sponsorships. And then when you're selling the listing, you say, hey, we're going to sell you the listing, plus you get featured in our holiday guide, featured in our Valentine's Day guide, that kind of thing, and that adds some additional value. So with that, but also a little bit different, is the print edition. And the fact is, print still sells. And we actually have, we've been doing eDirectory for a very long time, and a number of our customers come from a print background, and they're still in a print background. But interestingly, it seems like everybody still feels like print still sells pretty well. The problem is getting all the cost and the margin and everything to work out, because you got to print the paper and then distribute it, and all of that costs money. But if you're able to really be smart about it, you can do a print book, and that often works great with the special editions. So you create your holiday guide and then you print it, or if you're in a resort location, you're doing a local guide. Hey, our golf guide, whatever, you can print the book and then distribute it free around different hotels or wherever places are. You can even set up, find a way to set up little stands where people can take the special editions. You can do deals with other media companies. Maybe there's some local, if you're a fishing website and you're in some location that has charter fishing, maybe you do the charter fishing guide, and then you get the charter fishing guide inserted with the daily newspaper or whatever, the free, the other thing for distribution. So there's a lot of ways to do that. But people just like seeing the print. They like seeing their name in the press, and so you can typically sell that from my experience. So you just need to get all the costs and everything worked out. And I think we may try to do a white paper, some more information on how to do the logistics of actually printing something up. Today, it's not anywhere near as difficult as it was like 15, 20 years ago to get things printed. There's all these online services, et cetera, where essentially you upload a file. You can export your eDirectory, load it into an InDesign template. Our internal dev design team here, we can actually help you. I mean, we'll need to charge you for the labor on that, but we can help you create the print design, InDesign template, and then get that, and then just you send it out to a printer, and then they'll mail you back, stacks of books, and then you can get them distributed. So that's possible to do. If you need some help on that, I think we're going to have some material out about how to do that. If you just need some help on getting your directory data into a great looking print book publication that you can send to a printer, you can talk to your account executive, and they can get you a quote on what's involved there. And it kind of depends on what your needs are. If it's just kind of a directory export, or there's more to it, and you need some original design, etc. So anyway, print books, still a revenue opportunity there with that. Idea number 10, the sponsored article. The listing owner, basically you get listing owners to write sponsored articles that give them visibility and make them subject matter experts, and then you post them on your website in the article blog section, whatever. Just mark them very clearly as sponsored article. And this is a great one as well, especially for industries like medical, dental, that type of thing, where people just have some questions and they want to get something. It also works good for B2B industries typically as well. So anyway, you can say, hey, we're going to sell you a listing package. We'll do a sponsored article on this, and then they're like, oh, we don't know how to write an article. That goes to the custom content, and you can find a way to write that for them. Just do an interview with them and get the information you need for that. Idea number 11, this is one we've seen work really well too. Often people are actually a little bit scared about it, but it's actually not that difficult to produce high quality video these days. So video production, and basically you create videos for the businesses that you're selling to. And these could be, product reviews for specific products that they're selling. Also interviews or tours of their facility, that type of thing works really great typically. Videos are actually really easy to produce. You can produce a half decent video, believe it or not, on a modern high quality iPhone cell phone, but I'd recommend spending just a little bit more money. I mean, we're talking hundreds of dollars, not thousands, and going out and buying a camera, buying a tripod, and buying, they have these gimbal devices you can actually hook your iPhone up to that makes it, pretty smooth, the video. And then the microphone. And the microphones, to get the good quality sound, you need to do that. And then there's a little bit of post-production that's needed to make the videos just so they don't look like total, they don't look totally amateur. With a little bit of time, etc., you can produce a pretty decent video. And then after, the interesting thing is the first couple times you'll do it, it takes some work and you need to learn that expertise, or somebody on your team, you just need to assign somebody, especially if you have some younger team members, like they can pick this stuff up really quick and they probably already know how to do a lot of it. But if somebody spends 2 days of training how to make a video, they can typically produce a video that looks halfway decent. And then you can go out, there's places you can buy where you can buy intro music and everything very, very affordably, or they're free open source info, free music you can put for the tie-ins, get a little bit of design work done for the logo images, that kind of thing, and then produce the video. And this works great, and people will pay for this. They really will, because they can post that video on their own website, post it in their directory listing, and then also with this service, you can also include setting up a YouTube account for them, and then posting the video there. And especially if the video, you could do an informational video with somebody from these specific videos where they talk about a specific subject matter, etc. The video is co-branded with your brand and theirs, posted on their site, on their channel. I mean, we have a client that I know, they have a video that's received over 100,000 views for a video it took basically no time at all to produce. And that's just an enormous amount of visibility. And all that visibility actually came through YouTube, believe it or not. So video production is great. If you don't want to have the YouTube branding and the suggested videos and all that other stuff YouTube does to try to promote their brand on your website, you can use, to actually host the video, you can use a service. Vimeo is a great one. There's some others as well. And then post the video to Vimeo, and then you pay Vimeo. It's cheap, pay them a little bit. They host the video, and then you can still post it to YouTube, and then it's out there. So you get YouTube's video distribution. But that is another one to consider, and that's something that's a little bit harder, but really the value on video production is typically pretty excellent. So, all right. And let's see here. And then idea number 12, and this is a big one. This is actually the last one I have today, and this is actually a really big one that we've seen work, and some of our most successful clients do stuff along these lines. And so typically what they offer is email hosting and website hosting. And we actually have a new tool out. We're just launching it now, and this is kind of the first time really we're talking about the specific tool publicly. We've been working on it for a number of years. Some of you may have even seen a preview about it a long time ago. It's a lot better now. But what this basically does is it's a platform where you can go and brochure-style websites and email for your clients. These aren't giant business sites, etc. What these are is basically brochure sites for your local neighborhood businesses, small businesses, individual practitioners, that type of thing that need a website. It's great for retention. If you're hosting the email, for your customers in the website. They will pay your bill forever. They're just like changing it for a lot of these businesses. Too much hassle. It's super easy to provide now. Because actually we have a service. What we realized is we have a service, the page one, our new product, will actually build out the website for your customer if you want. You could do all the work yourself, or we have a small fee and we'll build out the site, a small one-time fee to build out the site. But everybody needs a website, even if they only have a Facebook page and they're only managing their Facebook page, they still need the website so that they dominate the top results in Google. So I'll take just a second to show you how this works, because this is one we've seen go really well. But basically the basics are new product, page1sites.com. There are no per site fees, so we have it's a $99 monthly, but you can charge whatever you want. So you sell 1-2 websites, you can easily make that. Email hosting is included. Easy setup and management, and then we have a service team that will do all the work, find stock images, upload them, crop them, do interviews with your end clients to get the content, write the content, put it all up there. And then after the site is set up, you can send access to the client so that they can manage the website themselves. So anyway, I will just really quickly show the this system here, and we will go. So now I'm sharing my screen, so I hope everybody can see the screen. And here we go. Okay, so I hope everybody can see my screen now. So this is our new product, page1sites.com. It's a site builder and reseller email platform built for agency type clients or people hosting a website. Easy to manage, generates revenue, no per site fees. We'll do all the back office for them, and we have instant setup, staging URLs, no bloat, etc., etc. The key thing to it is we have themes created that were highly optimized for different big business segments. And I'll just log in really quick to show everybody how this works. And obviously, this webinar, really, I'm very serious about your success, and that's the most important thing. So there are certainly other tools that you can use to do website hosting, like WordPress, etc. And those may work fine, but we built this product specifically for eDirectory type clients of mine, just because we kind of know what works and we knew how to remove all the friction from that process. So let me just log in here and I'll show you what it looks like after you've signed up. And so this is what the interface looks like here on first run. So basically you log in, and then you can go out and sell a website to your client, and then when you want to create a new website, we have a series of themes here that are designed for certain looks or various different segments. So this is a workshop theme for auto repair, etc. This is real estate development. This is a restaurant type theme for dining. These are just kind of some landing page themes. This theme here is actually a theme that you can use to launch your own agency services. So you can use this theme, create, hey, now I'm selling websites. We have basic site package, $500 setup, $50 a month, that type of thing here. Using this theme, you can set all that up. Law offices, photo studio, more restaurants, cleaners, events, lots of different themes here. You can basically preview the theme, and then when you're ready to use it, you just log in, you click here, and then say auto repair, and you can create the new site. And I got a quick difference. What's the difference between page one and eDirectory? So eDirectory is it's a service that has listings from various different types of businesses. You create these pages with listings. It has a map view that shows all the listings together. What page one is it's a site builder. It's a system where you can create websites as well as do email hosting for businesses. So say you sell a restaurant to be part of your local guide. You would create the listing for a restaurant in your eDirectory. You can also include a website for the restaurant. You create the website via page one, and then you host the email via page one. And so basically the way it works is this: you just created a new website. Here's my John, I'll just make the site name John's Auto Repair. And then you can put in the site URL. It's set up originally on a staging URL, but when you're ready to go live, you can get the domain name, buy the domain name, and then just switch the DNS. It's all automated. It's not like eDirectory where you need to send a supporter request. You just put in the domain name when you're ready to go, and it'll go live. And then also when you're ready, if you want to set up email, you can set up emails here. Just add, delete, set up emails and email forwards here for each site you create. So that's all ready to go. And then when you're ready to edit the site, here's what the CMS looks like for editing a website here. And I'll log in here. And so the CMS was designed to be super light and easy to use so that you can use it very quickly yourself, but also your end user client can use it as well. And so that way, if you want them, if you want the end user to be able to edit their own website, they can do it. You can send them, create a little account where they can log in and then manage their content. But this is the basic page one site content CMS here. So essentially the way it works is there are a series of widgets. I'm actually going to reduce the screen size so you'll see what it looks like on the. Okay, so there's a series of widgets. This is your editor screen here. There's a series of widgets similar to eDirectory to edit the content, where you go in and edit the content. And then on the right, there's actually a preview. And then if you want to see the site live, so this is a site for auto repair motorcycles. And then what you can do when you're ready to see the site, you can just pop it here, and then you can see what the actual site looks like as it's live. So this is a preview before it goes live. Simple brochure website, John's Auto Repair, whatever. And then the interesting thing about it is when you're ready to edit the content, and you can edit the content right here instead of saying top service best price, top service best price. Okay, so and then when you edit that, you can actually edit it live here, and then it will be, you can see how it looks right here as you go. So you can see this is easy enough for you to do, as well as probably your end customers. We typically recommend that you set up the website. That's the value that you're adding. They don't necessarily have the time to do that. So you set it all up for them, and then after it's set up, they may want to edit some things, then you can send them access to it. But the CMS on the system is, it's really easy to use. There's flexibility to change colors and a lot of other things. And we have a whole bunch of themes, I guess, with it. So that's how, if you want to offer websites, this is a great tool. We built this tool specific for this. We've been working on this for quite a while now, so I'm happy to get it out there, and I'm looking forward to seeing some people use it and hopefully build their businesses. And we are working on more themes, more new websites all the time. So we're going to be adding new themes. Every week or two, we'll have some new themes coming out and dropping in. And people ask, what's the difference between Wix, etc. One of the big differences is Wix was designed for a do-it-yourself. This was designed for an agency. So do-it-yourself, what's important is, really what they wanted is to make it so somebody that's completely unsophisticated can create a website and make it look decent. what we try to do is really create an effective business website for a business. So we thought about things like the SEO, how is the code structured behind the pages so it gets ranked well. If you see what a Wix website looks like, it's often 20 megabytes of junk because they have that WYSIWYG editor to drag things around and drop them. Ours is done a little bit differently, so the code that comes out is a lot cleaner, a lot better for SEO. We have everything tagged. We thought about different things like what does a restaurant want versus a auto repair versus a doctor's office or a lawyer. Like for instance, a lawyer, they're busy, they don't want phone calls for new clients. They want you to fill out a form that talks about what your needs are and then schedule an appointment, that type of thing. So that's what a lawyer does, has a form and an easy way. Whereas auto repair, they want you to drive up to the shop. So we feature the map, that type of thing on it. So we put a lot of thought into how the themes are designed, that type of thing. One other major feature of this is we have this ability to clone the themes. So you can go in, create a bunch of themes specific for your business. Like say you're doing a directory of only salons, hair salons. You can go in and create a bunch of example themes for just salons, taking whatever theme in here, creating only yours, and then you can go in and actually clone an existing one with all the content, everything filled out, and you just go here, clone the site, and then it will, new repair shop with different images. Repair shop, and then you can clone it, and that gives you a couple examples so that after you've set up a couple websites, you can set up more of them very, very quickly with customized content. So anyway, that's kind of an overview on the page one system. We're really excited about that, and that is a new offering that we have that I hope will work to help people monetize. I had a question come in here. Modules from Marketplace eDirectory are paid once, and the user has access to update forever, or is there a monthly fee? Oh, that's an eDirectory question. Yeah, the Marketplace, they're a pay once for the mods, and then if you do an upgrade, there's a one-time $50 fee for all mods to move them all over on upgrade. And that just covers the labor for that. So basically the mods are pay once, and then you get them, and then if you want to upgrade, it's just a one-time fee. We're hoping at some point to be able to get rid of that, but we got to keep the lights on, so a small fee on that. Oh yeah, so we got a question here. Any idea what does it cost for us to design websites instead of doing them in-house? Yeah, well, I have this. Here's the clone theme. Let me go back to page1sites.com, and I'll show you what we have in terms of offering on this. So in terms of our pricing here, we have a professional and then a white label, and the white label is fully labeled with all your branding and all that. And also it has more disk space. So there's no per site fee, but just a disk space fee. But if you think about it, 50 gigs for brochure style websites, you can host a lot on that. But then we have a site build out service. So we'll do that. We'll do this service here. It's $150 for one site, or if you're reselling this, we'll do 5 sites for $500. So basically $100 a site to do that. And what the build out service is, we'll create up to 4 web pages for a straightforward brochure style website. Configure fonts, colors to match the brand. We'll do very light content writing based on internet research, short client interview form, specific for each theme, etc. Keep your expectations set accordingly here, but we will write some content there. We're not going to be able to write paragraphs and paragraphs of things. We'll do our best job to make sure that you're happy with it. We'll also find and upload royalty-free stock images throughout the site using Unsplash and some other things. That includes light cropping and retouching. We'll do 1 cycle of client feedback and adjustments. We put in a max of like 5 hours of service because sometimes we get into a situation where people don't understand that we have labor costs, etc. For that, we'll do Google Sitemap submission, Google Analytics setup, including configuration to traffic report to be emailed weekly, unless Google disables that feature. I think today it's still enabled where you can get a PDF emailed to them. But I just want to mention that. So get the Google Analytics set up, and then we'll send them access to it, your end client access or email. And then we'll do a Facebook integration to show a Facebook feed on their website so the content looks somewhat fresh. But we're not going to set up the full Facebook account and all that type of thing for them. So we're not doing a social media service, but if they already have Facebook, we'll log into Facebook, get the credentials, put it in the widget, and set it up there for that. So that's what our basic service needs. If you need something else done, you can certainly talk to us and see what you're doing there. And then we have a special promo just as we're getting this launched and started today, which is if you ordered the professional system, we're going to include 2 free site build outs today, and if you order the white label $199 a month, we're going to include 5. So that's $500 value if you get the white label, or $200 value if you get the professional version. And the special for anybody on the webinar is we will also create a page either in page 1 or on eDirectory, just a very simple HTML page showing the website offering, saying, hey, we sell websites, we have the package, it's $500 a month plus $500 plus $50 a month. That includes 4 pages, blah, blah, blah. You'll tell us what to put in there, but we'll help you set up your page to sell the service offering, because we want to make sure that you're successful there. So that's a special. We'll send around an email later with some details on that. Yeah, we're trying to set up the back office so that you can do this in scale. You go out, sell it, and then we're able to do the back office service for you. We had a question. Does page 1 support WordPress templates? No, we can't just import WordPress. The advantage over page 1 over WordPress is it's an order of magnitude less complex. So all the code and everything behind it is cleaner. So we don't support WordPress templates. But what we can do is, if you need a WordPress template created, you can let us know, and we can see what's involved to get that done. And then we can basically take the WordPress template and then set it up inside of page 1 and set it up and match it. Actually, if you have a designer on your staff, somebody that knows HTML, they can actually log into the page 1 system, and actually there's a way to edit some of the HTML code and create your own themes in there yourself. So you can actually do that yourself. We can do that for you if you need specific WordPress templates, but it's not something where you can just upload and put them in there. One other thing, how does it compare to GoDaddy? So GoDaddy is a little bit more consumer oriented. It's set up. GoDaddy is like the system for the end beginner user that's not the agency, that's not pro. So our stuff is typically a lot cleaner. It works better. We don't, especially if you get the white label version, it all has your branding and everything set up on it, that type of thing. So I think there are some advantages over GoDaddy. Certainly you can look at, there's a number of platforms out there: Wix, GoDaddy, WordPress, Squarespace, whatever. There's a whole bunch of them out there. But what we've done is we've built a specific offering that hits the need of people selling these very small brochure websites, the businesses that are busy and don't want to deal with it themselves. And so we think you can use this to generate a high margin recurring revenue stream pretty easily. So I am out of time actually today, but I want to thank everybody for joining. If you have any questions, you can certainly send us an email. If you're ready to get started on page 1, you can sign up right through the website, or reach out to your account executive, Daniel Storm, Darvin Castro, and they can help get you started on that. And yeah, I guess thanks everybody. We will send around an email follow-up as well with some more details on that. But stay focused, and don't forget, at the end of the day, you really need to focus on generating the recurring revenue for your business. And there's a lot of ways to do that, not just selling websites, video services, SEO, etc. Get aggressive, figure out what you can do. We're here to help.